This time, the natural track lugers are racing for World Championship glory on challenging terrain. We'll meet the defending champions hungry for more medals. And of course, we won't miss a second of the best luging action in a winter wonderland. Fresh snow galore has had no impact on the euphoric atmosphere in Latzfons, Italy, as the stage is set for the 22nd World Championships in natural track luge. For many of the 93 athletes from 22 nations, the race on the 900-meter-long track is the most important of the season. It will require all of their finely tuned luging skills. Hi, I'm Tina Unterberger from the beautiful town of Bad Goisern, and I'm pleased to present the World Championship track here in Latzfons. There's certainly no room for error in its 8 turns and with its flat corner exits. The trickiest thing is to maintain high speeds throughout. Let's start in the second corner. You need to brake just a little bit and make sure to carry as much speed as possible into the third and fourth turns. Then we're in corner number 5. Again, not braking too much. This one has quite a tight radius, while most of the other turns of this track are rather wide, which is something we Austrians are not too fond of, but still we'll do our best. This is followed by a combination, which is all about getting through without braking at all. I usually lose plenty in this one, and even though it looks quite inconspicuous, it's a challenge to many.
Schaut von außen her ein bisschen unscheinbar aus, aber da gibt's ordentlich Probleme bei manche.
And now we've reached the corner before the home straight, where it's crucial to brake as late as possible in order not to lose too much speed. You're trying to hit the red line and then carry as much of your momentum as possible across the finish line.
Erledigen und dann gibt's diesen roten Strich, diesen bekanntlichen, auf den versucht man dann den letzten Schwung mit ins Ziel, auf die Zielgerade und dann natürlich auch durchs Zielhaus zu nutzen.
Up first, it's crunch time in the doubles. Rupert Brugler and Tobias Angerer are the defending world champions, and while their season kickoff was first class, they're having some issues with the track here in Latzfons. Well, I fear there's no love lost between us and this track. Some corners are giving us real trouble. It's kind of not working as we'd like it to. Especially in those flat turns, it's really difficult to get the right feeling at the entry and the exit. It's just not our style. We much prefer those tight, fast corners. So there's a lack of flow in the drawn-out corners, but do the Austrians still see themselves as favorites for the title? Favorites? Well, we won the first World Cup in Kutai, maybe a little surprisingly as we hadn't trained too much beforehand. Throughout the last weeks, though, we've had some equipment issues, but I think we've solved those by now. For me personally, the goal is to win a medal. It doesn't have to be the title, even though it's always lovely to win titles. After being absent at the 2 Moscow races due to work, the Austrians recently struck back with a bronze at the 5th World Cup in Deutschnofen. The perfect preparation for Latzfons? Particularly after Deutschnofen, we are of course eager to race here. It has certainly boosted our self-confidence, and we can certainly go into tomorrow's race with a positive mindset. Let's get to the finals in the doubles now. Different from the women's and the men's singles, there are 2 instead of 3 runs before the world champions are crowned. After the first run, the Kings are in the lead. Doubles powerhouse Pigneter Clara are more than a half second up on their young teammates, the Lambacher brothers. Hot on their heels in third, Porchnev Lazarev from Russia. Let's start off with 6th place, which is in the hands of Kovshik Tarasov. Following the first round, the Russians earned their first World Cup win this season as Stanislav Kovshik and Ilya Tarasov emerged victorious on the challenging ice of Moscow. No issues here either, racing in perfect harmony and keeping their lead on the athletes behind them. They're just as smooth in the Bachl combination, and now it's about managing the lower sections, in particular the corner leading up to the home straight. A run without any significant problems, consequently a half a second faster than before, which leaves the Russians in 6th or better. Their teammates Igorov Popov currently occupy 5th place, which will certainly fail to satisfy them. Very successful in the World Cup for a number of years, the Russians lack a medal from the World Championships, which is something they desperately wanted to change at this event. But before long, the gap of 1900s has melted away, and their deficit on them will be growing in the upcoming turns. Can they make up for that in the bottom of the track? Not a very clean line by Alexander Igorov and Peter Popov, and across the finish line they're almost 0.6 seconds down on Kovshik-Tarasov. Latzfons won't be the stage of glory for the tireless Russians. But now world champions Rupert Brugler and Tobias Angerer in 4th at the moment. There's a half second separating them from 3rd place, so their final run needs to be perfect in order to claim a medal. Retaining the title will admittedly be a Herculean task, but they are well and highly motivated to reach for the stars made of bronze. They're 0.7 seconds ahead of the leaders Kovshik-Tarasov, and it's truly impressive how they keep increasing this margin. It's a really good performance, clocking a much faster time than in their error-strewn first round. Now they'll of course be hoping for the others to slip down. But these perennials will give their all to leave Latzfons with a medal, that's for sure. It would be their 6th at the World Championships, having won the title 3 times already. As a reminder, the gap over Brugler-Angerer is a half a second, and for now, they don't look like they're giving away any margin at all. Pavel, Porchnev, and Ivan Lazarev are in full control. The Russians are incredibly versatile, collecting podiums on tracks of all kinds of characteristics. Today, their run nears perfection. 1st place for now. Time to get used to bronze, and perhaps their medal will shine even brighter. Youngsters Lambacher and Lambacher are in strikingly good shape. While they're world champions in Sportrodel, Luge, it's a similar discipline on largely wooden sleds. It's their 1st season on the Natural Track World Cup. The newbies pulled off a fantastic first run, but their tiny lead of 700ths is gone halfway through. They're now 200ths down on the fabulously strong Russians before unnecessarily touching the boards entering the last corner. What will their time be? Rather microscopic, 0.04 seconds separate them from the silver medal. However, bronze is a huge success for Patrick and Matthias Lambacher. The grand finale is imminent as Pigneter, Clara, the big shots in double luge, are ready to rumble. Even though not as dominant in this season as in others, they've shown a textbook performance in the first run, resulting in a winning margin of a half a second. They've won 5 medals already, crowning themselves world champions 3 times. Patrick Pigneter and Florian Clara are about to repeat this feat as their gap keeps growing unswervingly. Most elegantly in the drawn-out turns, the Italians radiate self-confidence, mastering this track, whose challenges they know better than most. Full throttle into the last corner, and they'll be crossing the finish line in first, outclassing the rest of the field by a huge 1.3 seconds. World title number 4 for the best doubles in the history of the sport. Winning here in Latzfons, which is basically our home track, was our main goal this season. It's a great course, which suits our style, but it still wasn't easy today as conditions were very different from the training runs, so we were a little nervous at the start. But despite our relatively big lead, we knew we had to show another good performance. Yeah, we're just really happy to have regained the title. I'm sorry for the others, but there can only be one world champion. Behind them, Porchnev, Lazarev earned their 6th medal at the Worlds, while the Lambacher brothers are speechless about a bronze. Brugler-Angerer have to settle with 4th, missing out on the medals by a half a second. Over to the women now, and Greta Pinggera, who became world champion in 2017. While slightly surprising at the time, the Italian has built up an exquisite collection of titles since. However, the 24-year-old is hesitant to assume the role of favorite. Of course, it's a special honor to go into this race as the defending champion, but I've had a difficult season. There have been changes to my equipment. But I think that for Latzfons, I am positive my serviceman and I have found the right setup. Even though the track perfectly suits Pinggera's style, Evelin Lanthaler is still the woman to beat. After 5 races, she's yet to lose in the current World Cup season. World champs are always special. There are 3 runs in which mental strength is crucial, also for Evelin. But at the moment, she's lucky that everything is just flowing. That's when you don't waste any time analyzing, which is certainly the best strategy. I know how that feels very well. For now, I'll attack from behind and hope for the best. Over the past days, I took a break from Luge, which really boosted my confidence. Plus, I really love this track. It's all about going full throttle. As they say, those who break, lose. It helps that Greta Pinggera is much stronger going full throttle than she is braking. What would retaining her title mean to her? It would be huge, of course, given how difficult my season has been. Getting another world title under my belt after the one 2 years ago would be amazing. We're just about to find out who will have the final say in the women's. While snowfall had a great impact on the training rounds, the fastest losers will now go into the 3rd and final run on a perfectly prepared track. 2 outstanding runs have put Evelin Lanthaler almost 2 seconds up on the rest of the field, but the gaps behind her promise an exciting fight for the medals. Bursting with motivation, the youngest member of Team Italy, Daniela Mittermeier, currently in 6th position. A winner of the Junior Overall World Cup, Mittermeier has managed to challenge the big shots more than once since then. And as the gaps to the medals are not overly big, the young Italian could gain some ground with a good final run. Undoubtedly a woman on a mission and racing like there's no tomorrow, Mittermeier increases her margin on the leading athlete. There's certainly not too much braking on the final bits either, and so Daniela Mittermeier can be happy with her fastest run of these championships as well as a top 6 result. Teammate Alexandra Fatna is eager to perform well on home turf. The Italian hails from Latzfons and knows the course better than most, but her margin is super slim. The Junior World Champions got 400s on Mittermeier, nothing the 19-year-old is greatly impressed by. However, as she masters the track to perfection, racing towards the intermediate lead on a highly effective line. With a flawless bottom section on top of that, Fatna has managed to clock an even faster time than Mittermeier before her, at worst 5th place on home turf for Alexandra Fatna. In her long and illustrious career, Ekaterina Lavrantieva has claimed 8 World Championship medals, finishing at the very top 4 times. And in the 2nd season following her maternity leave, things are going pretty well for the Russian. The 3 World Cup podiums and now a 4th position ahead of the final, most obviously the 37-year-old always eyeing the podium. Almost 20 years her junior, Fatna was fast, but Lavrantieva uses all her experience to be even faster. 3600s at the start, half a second crossing the finish line, an excellent performance by Lavrantieva. And now the top 3. Tina Unterberger won bronze in Fatra Dornai 2017, but will she manage to defend that Romanian medal? Even though her gap of 0.4 seconds over Lavrantieva looks rather comfortable, the track in Latzfons is not among the Austrians' favorites. Unterberger prefers tight corners, favoring her dynamic luging style. The 32-year-old shows as much fighting spirit and precision as in her previous runs, keeping her lead as she flies towards the finish. And it's with the smallest of margins that Tina Unterberger wins her second World Championship medal today, 1/100th of a second faster than the best natural track luger of all time, Ekaterina Lavrantieva. Currently in silver medal position, defending champion Greta Pinggera. As making up 2 seconds on the leader Evelin Lanthaler is nearly impossible, the Italian will be focused on keeping Tina Unterberger at bay. Pinggera is 0.3 seconds up on Unterberger, and she's looking very confident in the long corners of Latzfons. Moving in a most elegant fashion, the 24-year-old keeps increasing her lead. Her team has definitely made the right choices of equipment, and there are fine luging skills on display here. 1.5 seconds faster than Tina Unterberger, an outstanding performance to wrap things up. This means at least silver for Pinggera. Evelin Lanthaler is the main protagonist of this story. 27 years of age, she's all but in her own league at the moment, putting herself in the lead by almost 2 seconds in the first 2 runs. The Italian should see a third run as icing on the cake of a grand weekend, which is exactly what she does, nearly floating through the Bachl combination, very close to the ideal line and very fast as well. An impressive demonstration by the luger, who currently outshines the rest of the field and who's lost almost nothing of her huge margin across the finish line. After 2015, Lanthaler is the world champion again. Things went extremely well. Of course, I set the stage with yesterday's 2 runs, but it all went well today too, as I tried to go full throttle once more. It wasn't the fastest time, but I'm over the moon about my world title. It was really amazing to race today. The fans were cheering in the final corner, all those people pushing you forward, really awesome. Pinggera earned silver, while Tina Unterberger is a very joyful bronze medalist. Ekaterina Lavrantieva off the podium by a tiny margin, whereas Alexandra Fatner is certainly happy about 5th at home. And finally, let's check out the men's and Alex Gruber's mission to defend the title. Even though winning the first overall World Cup title is his main goal this season, a World Championship race is always special. Of course, a world title is quite cool. Even as a child, I've always dreamt of becoming a world champion. It's of course a season highlight. I've been spoiled lately, always finishing among the top 3. Of course, the goal here is to win, but the world will keep spinning even if I come second. One also has to value second and third places. They're just as hard to get to. Nevertheless, Gruber is the favorite, especially because the show takes place on what is practically his home track. There are many turns which need to be mastered well. You need a lot of grip. Runs have to be technically perfect, and the equipment needs to be 110% right. If it's not, I can feel it straight away, knowing that I'm not as fast as I could be. I'm certainly ready for Latzfons. The track's in the village neighboring my hometown, so I know it very well and I feel good here. To be fair, this is true for basically every course this season. Is Gruber currently in the form of his life? I wouldn't have anything against being even stronger, but it's true, I'm in good shape right now. And so the best men in natural track luge are getting ready for their third and decisive round. Alex Gruber has shown 2 terrific runs, and with a lead of 1 second, his chances of retaining the title are good. But behind him, the gaps are tight and the battles will be fierce. Missing on the start list is Patrick Pigneter. The 6-time World Championship medalist experienced issues with his equipment in the second run and has to bow out as a result. Bad luck aplenty for the best natural track athlete in history. But at least Pigneter's earned the title in the doubles already. And here are the highlights. In 8th place, Mickey Scheikl, unhappy about his second run. The Austrian is now much further behind than he would have liked. Yet Scheikl is a fighter who's eager to show his very best in this final. His gap over the athletes behind him is not exactly towering, but the 29-year-old is looking ahead anyway. With a clean and equally courageous run, Scheikl is working his way up the ranks, extending his lead by the second. Very efficient in the buckle combination, he'll almost entirely refrain from braking in the bottom section and end up clocking a time which is more than a second faster than before. Great stuff for Mickey Scheikl. Now, how far can he get today? World Championships are surely Yuri Talik's favorite stage. To the surprise of most, the Russian claimed the silver medal in Vatra Dornai 2 years back. And even though he's been on a few World Cup podiums in the past, he's ranked rather low in the highest league these days. In 6th position after the second run, his small margin of 1600ths over Scheikl is history before long. Will he manage to come back, or will he let Scheikl climb the leaderboard even further? Second place, Talik, 7th or better. Scheikl has beyond a doubt shown some magic today. Florian Clara, the doubles master, also enjoys being fast on the luge by himself, and today racing the final in 4th, the medals are within reach. This would be a first. Never has the Italian been able to finish on the world champs podium in the singles, but 2800ths on Speedy Scheikl is not a massive lead, and he's already lost them in the midsections. There are still some corners left to turn the tide, but his deficit is actually growing, and Scheikl did a particularly good job on the last bit of the track. It's not enough. 3rd place and more than 0.8 seconds slower than the blistering fast Austrian, yet Clara is safely in 6th. Now, Florian Glatzel. Will he manage to spoil his teammates' party? Scheikl has luged his way up from 8th to 4th already, but Glatzel will not give away his first World Championship medal without a fight. Bronze is a great position to ride on, but the Austrian needs to be tactically clever, as his lead of a half second over Scheikl is comfortable, yet anything but safe. Halfway through, he's only got 400ths left, falling behind Scheikl after the buckle combination. The 25-year-old tackles the final challenge as well, but does he carry enough speed to celebrate in the finish? No, it could be 4th place for Glatzel, while Scheikl just can't believe it. Thomas Kammerlander, the most consistent rider over the past 2 seasons, and he is also breathing down Alex Gruber's neck this year, eager to snatch the overall World Cup title away from the Italian. As the Landwiesen track is absolutely not Kammerlander's favorite playground, 2nd place would be a fine result for the 29-year-old, and he's got more than a second on Scheikl, so things would have to go really badly for the Austrian to lose his silver medal. Even though his lead also decreases, Thomas Kammerlander crosses the line first and can already enjoy the thought of his medal to come. Which color his medal will have will be decided now. Alex Gruber, local hero from the neighboring town, has put himself into a great position. 1 second up on the rest of the field and armed with the self-confidence of having trained here since he was a child. The 26-year-old is very unlikely to falter. As usual, Gruber takes high risks and is rewarded by an increasing lead. Shifting down a gear is not his style, and so the Italian goes full throttle, braking very rarely. He wins the race by 1.5 seconds, putting on a clinic. Gruber is the old and new world champion.
It's a really special moment to become world champion here in South Tyrol, next door to my home.
Many of my friends and family have come and we'll all be celebrating together. I trained here as a child and I know this track like the back of my hand, and so I simply felt great here. All my 3 runs were great. I have a huge self-confidence at the moment, and I knew ahead of the line that I would win, so I started celebrating beforehand. You really shouldn't do that, but I felt so good, which is why it was okay. Thomas Kammerlander in silver medal position earns his 2nd World Championship medal. Mickey Scheikl pulls off the fastest final run and is elated about his 1st medal. This was the 2019 World Championships in Natural Track Luge. With record-breaking doubles, a high-flying luger nobody could hold a candle to at the moment, and a hard-working medal collector in party mode. Goodbye for now and see you soon at the World Cup final.